Yo, what's up, people? Hope you're having an amazing day today. I'm a little bit tired, but we're going to get this one going. We're going to finish this one up. And I'm going to deliver all the points that I possibly think of when it comes to this specific topic. All right, so let's get it in. I'm going to start recording on everything else now. Yo, what's up, people? What's happening? Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your boy. You know who it is, IFBB PRO. Today, I'm going to be bringing a cool fact to you guys and girls that live outside of the fitness sphere, the fitness bubble, whatever you want to call it. And I'm actually going to tell you, not only tell you, but show you with some examples how you can actually burn fat with fast food. Okay. And this one is for people that struggle with, I would say, fast food addictions, um, and really don't know how to knock it and fear that if they cut it out, they stop eating the fast food, that one day they might eat it again. And that's just sort of keeping them in this perpetual motion where they're not able to commit to dieting because they haven't found a method that works for them. And I'm going to be explaining that method, or a method that actually works for you if you really love fast food, in just a little bit. Happy Thursday, bro. It's good, Zach. Zach Attack. What's happening, bro? Ready to kill it today? Steven, what's good? Thanks for joining. All right, people. We're going to get straight down into the point. I'm going to be rolling this podcast episode very shortly. When it is recording, I won't be responding to any comments or answering any questions until after the recording. All right. So it's probably going to take 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But again, still drop your comments, still drop your questions. And at the end, I will be able to respond to them. All right. So that's here. Okay. We will be getting this podcast recording in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yo, what's good, meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day, and welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your returning champion, IFBB Pro Matt Butale, coming at you with another topic today. And today, I'll be breaking down what the end goal of flexible dieting looks like with me as your head coach in the Natural Nomad Academy, and just in general. But I'm going to also explain to you how I handle essentially flexible dieting for people that struggle with food addictions. Mainly, they love junk food. And I wouldn't even say struggle with junk food addiction. I just say if you fucking like junk food, then you like junk food. I kind of like it. I do like it. I always talk about it in my other episodes. Pizza's my thing. I love pizza. Wings, cool. But pizza, fuck yeah. So how do I stay fit? How do I stay lean and still eat pizza? Well, of course, I'm on the other spectrum of things. I'm on the extreme because I'm a professional bodybuilder, but I can sort of explain to you how it works on an average person scale and what we do at the Natural Nomad Academy with people that are just honestly wanting to burn some fat, get rid of the beer belly, get rid of the love handles, get rid of the man boobs, but still eat the foods that they love. Okay, so that's what we'll be diving into today. But before we dive in, please invite somebody or share this episode out to somebody else that you may think has a problem with this, or you've seen them diet over and over again. They haven't really lost weight, and it might be because they keep restricting themselves from foods that they like, and then when they eat those foods, they feel like a failure because they give into their cravings, right? And then because they feel like a failure giving to the cravings, they quit the diet altogether and they don't make progress. If you know anybody that's going through that, if you have a friend that's going through that, a cousin, a relative, anybody, send this episode out to them. Let them listen to this because there's definitely something in this episode for them to not only hear, but to practice in their life so that they can burn the fat that they want to burn, so that they can, get the body that they want, move further away from the beer belly and the man boobs and closer to having a more healthy, leaner, aesthetic physique. Okay, so let's break it down. You're probably laughing at the title of this episode. Fast food can help you burn fat, or did you know that pizza and burgers can help you burn fat? Well, essentially, that's the question. And it's fucking rhetorical because if you're outside of the fitness sphere, you don't really know that it's possible, right? Everybody, or mostly, I'd say probably 99% of the people in the fitness industry know that, the type of foods, of course, does matter because the quality, is going to give you the nutrients that you need, so on and so forth. But also, it's technically about the quantity, everything, the whole thing. It's all like a numbers game, the quantity numbers, or quantity in the sense of calories, your caloric intake. How many calories are you eating? That's more important than where you're getting your calories from, in the sense of just burning fat, if we're cutting it straight down the middle. But if we're really getting down to it and like talking about being healthy, Of course, you don't want to always eat fast food. You want to have it sometimes. It's healthy that way because now you give in to your urges, not necessarily your urges. You feed yourself what you like anyway, so you don't even have to crave it in the first place. It feels fucking normal. Like your diet will feel normal and it'll feel flexible because it feels normal. And because of that, you'll be able to stick to it. And because you'll be able to stick to it, and the calories are you're sticking to and you're abiding to with the best of your ability, the calories that you need to eat, you're going to get your results. Okay, so let's dive into this. Did you know that burgers can help you burn fat? That's my question. It's fucking rhetorical, as I just said. And you heard that right. But let me walk you through the process. So I'm just going to tell you something real quick. Whenever I encounter somebody going through their fat loss journey for the very first time, I often hear them say, no more chips, no more burgers, no more pizza, no more fries or donuts or whatever for me. I'm cutting that shit out. No more soda. That's the biggest one. No more soda for me. No more sugars. I'm cutting it out. And I ask them why. Well, because I want to burn fat. Well, because I want to lose my man boobs. Because I want to lose my beer belly. You know, I think the sodas, all the bubble and the carbonated soda is making my gut larger and all like all that stuff. And I'm not pointing a finger and laughing. I'm just really, as I said, I'm coming to realization that it's not common knowledge or even common practice for people outside of the fitness industry to understand that like the foods that you eat, yes, quality does matter, but quantity matters more than quality does if you're focusing on the basics when it comes to just burning fat, right? Generally, I'm still going to stand by the fact that the quality of the food is superior because for someone like me, sticking to a caloric number isn't an issue because I'm a professional. But for the average person, that's more of a task than it is or than it would be for me. So I would understand that you would have an issue or more of an issue with just generally losing your weight, burning your fat. I understand that. And I understand that you don't understand that there's a that the common knowledge and the common practice that happens within the fitness industry isn't something that you're privy to. You don't know about it. And that's why I'm here to explain to you and help really deconstruct some misconceptions that you may have relating to fast food and it being the reason why you are fat or why you have fat on your body. It's not. It is not the reason why. It's always about the quantity of calories. Calories in, calories out. Nobody is bigger, pun intended, than the law of thermodynamics. Nobody. It just works that way. It's like gravity. Can't fucking change the laws of physics. It just happens that way. Right? So, if we can understand that calories is the number one thing to focus on, then it becomes very simple. Make sure you hit that number. But how you go on about hitting that number, how you go on about hitting a caloric target without feeling like you're suffering, without feeling like you're restricting yourself, without hating the process, that's another story. It's another story, but it's just another chapter from the same book. And I'm going to be talking about that book today. And that book is called Flexible Dieting. And no, it's not an actual book. I'm just using this as a metaphor. It sounds good. All right, so let's go into it. You know, I often hear them say, yeah, no more of this, no more of that, no more insert food. And if you are one of those people, let me know. Just honestly nod your head or drop a comment somewhere or shoot me a message. Hey, man, whatever you said, that sounded just like me. You were talking to me. Then that's cool. All right. So if that's you, listen up. So when okay, so of course I coach athletes. I coach bodybuilders and amateur athletes that want to and or are aspiring bodybuilders, right? So athletes of all kinds. I love working with them, right? Because they're like me. But I also help the average Joe. Okay. And for the average Joe that joins the Natural Nomad Academy, as their coach and as a professional, we create a plan so that they can stay eating as clean as possible for the first 3 to 4 months, depending on their starting point for fat loss. Okay. And what does that mean as clean as possible? Well, it means everything that you've been eating up until this point that got you to where you are, I'm gonna have you cut out temporarily. Like, so we're gonna do that strict shit, but it's gonna be temporary. And the reason why we're gonna do it isn't because I need you to learn how to be strict all the time and never eat the fast foods again. No, it's to train your mind to give yourself a sense of discipline by doing something for a specific result. And if you can thug that shit out for 3 months, 4 months, even though it gets hard, because it fucking does get hard after the 4 months. Well, when they get the results, because it's just going to come, they're going to realize, okay, I'm not afraid to really step out of this bubble and like have a little bit of this, have a little bit of that, because I'm seeing the results come. And if I am eating this amount of calories, right, and my results are lining up with being physically active and eating that amount of calories, and I understand that, now all I'm going to do is what we would do is, after that 3 to 4 month period, depending on how compliant they are with their nutrition, slowly start to introduce them and teach them how to essentially do macro coaching, where you're focused less on not eating junk food, you're focused more on being flexible. And guys and girls, flexible dieting is the best thing ever. It's so wonderful, but it's also one of the worst things ever for most people that don't have discipline. Okay, that's why I do the 3 to 4 month vetting process and like making them eat as clean as possible. And clean foods, again, it's not that you're not going to enjoy it. You're pretty much going to be eating the food that you ate while you're growing up that was healthy. I'm not going to make you eat shit that you don't fucking want to eat. There's no way. I would never do that. So I would never make you do that. Right. And I don't make my clients do that. They all get custom nutrition protocols that are based on what they like. If they don't like something that they see, then we change it. Right. It's pretty much based off of their applications and their recommendations. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. Right. So as a coach and as their professional, right, I'd create the program for them 3 to 4 months, the very beginning. They're eating only home cooked meals. They're not allowed to, start to experiment with eating out, fast foods and all that stuff, because they don't really understand. Again, 99% of the fitness bubble understands. The 1% of everybody else, which is odd to say 1%, but everybody else that doesn't understand, that's them. And you can't, you got to learn how to crawl, and then you got to learn how to walk, then you got to learn how to run. If I just teach you how to run, it's cool. You get to go the fastest speed, make the most progress. You feel the most comfortable, essentially, right? But if you don't have the fundamentals down, you're gonna run out of control. What does that mean? Well, if you don't have the discipline to learn how to say no to yourself when it comes to putting something in your mouth, food in this case, get your mind out of the gutter, then it's going to be very difficult for you to actually stick to your caloric requirements if you want to do flexible dieting. Like flexible dieting meaning incorporating junk food 20% of the time and still eating your home cooked meals 80% of the time. And the reason why is because, well, you're just going to lose yourself. If you can't say no to the food you put in your mouth, then when you try to attempt to put yourself in the scenario where you can attempt flexible dieting and you're not fucking ready, you're going to shit the bed all over the place. And it's going to be a very scary scene. You're going to be very mad. You're going to be very sad. You're going to be upset. You're going to regret it. You're going to feel like shit. You might even hate yourself a little bit for going out to eat that, whatever it was, because you couldn't control yourself. Right. So the first 3 to 4 months is developing self control, developing discipline for that person at the Natural Nomad Academy that is focused on burning fat, but also, getting their physique in check, getting rid of the man boobs to the best of their ability, minimizing the love handles, and trying to shrink up that beer belly, that gut. Right. So that's the approach. Eat home cooked meals 100% of the time for 3 to 4 months. And then after that, you can have, if you're eating 4 meals a day, and one day you decide, I want burgers and fries, or I want to go have a massive pizza and wings, just take out 2 meals. And then whatever those 2 meals are equated to in terms of calories, you're going to get the equivalent in cheat food. Does that make sense? So that you're not going over the amount of calories that you need to eat to be able to still lose weight, but you're also not essentially keeping yourself away or cutting food groups out completely, even if it is junk, right? And here's also where the quality comes in with the food, because you can have two foods, okay, that are the same calories, but have a different macronutrient composition. What is a macronutrient, first of all, for those of you that don't know, that don't live in the fitness space? A macronutrient, you've heard of them before. You've heard of them. There's three main ones we focus on. The first one builds muscle. You already know what it is because I don't even have to tell you. It's protein, muscle food, right? The second one is carbohydrates, gives you energy, to go to the gym, to go to work, to walk, to wake up, to shit, to everything. It gives you energy. It's the body's fuel. And then last but not least, we have fat, which is also another form of the body's fuel. And it's left bioavailable when we consume too many carbs and we're not burning them off. So carbs themselves won't make you fat. But if you eat carbs and you're not exercising and you're having a lot of carbs, and that a large amount of carbs also translates and or adds to the fact that you are eating more calories than you need to eat in order to stay that weight, either or you're in a surplus, you're going to get fat. But eating that food or eating a slice of pizza is not going to make you fat if all you had was a slice of pizza that day. Does that make sense? Because what is a slice of pizza? 200 calories, right? So it's junk food won't make you fat. It's the amount of calories that you eat. Okay. So again, we got that out the way. First 4 months, eat clean, and then after that, if they're ready, start to show them macronutrient sort of style dieting. Okay. So then once we correct their metabolism, regulate their hormones, and fix any potential digestive issues that they had prior to eating, food that their bodies accept. These things usually happen when people choose the worst quality foods, junk food, and eat them consistently. And like on the flip side, what I was talking about when I was comparing quality, which I also will be talking a little bit more about in depth in terms of a comparison with some actual numerical values here with like meals and stuff and calories, so you can actually see the picture and hopefully it can paint the picture for you, is like you want to have foods that have better macronutrient composition, and foods that have better macronutrient composition, guys and girls, are the ones that are cooked at home. They're the ones that are healthy. They're the ones that honestly people shy away from because they think that it has to be this fucking dry rice and chicken meal with asparagus, and it really doesn't. You can cook, first of all, I'm gonna put this out here because a lot of the people that are watching this or listening to this that have the same misconceptions about most of the things I talked about in this episode also have their misconception about what I'm about to talk about right now. Okay. And that misconception, and let me know if this is you, that misconception, guys and girls, is what? The misconception of calories. The misconception, guys and girls, pay attention. You have to make sure that I want you to understand when it comes to the macronutrient value of food, that you need to make sure protein is the biggest thing that you're getting a lot of protein in whatever it is you're eating. Because not only is it going to make you feel more full, right? The more protein you have, the more full you're going to feel. But on top of that, it's going to add to the total amount of protein that you're consuming in a day, which is beneficial because it's going to feed your muscle, and the more muscle you have on your body, the more fat you're going to burn, and even better, the longer you're going to keep that fat off, because the more muscle you have on your body, the more calories your body will burn just in a rested state, which means that essentially chasing a path where you're growing muscle, not essentially to be a bodybuilder, but just to look better, is going to help you burn fat, and not only that, but keep it off, right? Which is why it's important to look at the macronutrients. So you'll have two foods that are both 800 or say 500 calories. One has got 80 grams of protein, and we'll say a couple hundred grams of carbs, maybe 400 grams of carbs, 300 grams of carbs in it, right? This is a large ass meal. The other one will have like 600, 700 grams of carbs, right? This is a large ass, this is like a pizza, right? And like 20, 40, 30 grams of protein, maybe. And when you look at the macronutrient spread on that, it doesn't favor protein. And that I would honestly rank down if I was to compare the two, because I'm honestly getting less less macronutrient value out of the food that I'm getting the same calories from. So yes, you can still lose weight with the pizza, but you'll be more healthy losing weight with the whole food, which is why I always stick by eat clean 80% of the time, and 20% of the time fuck around, have your pizza, have your fast food, whatever it is, go to your favorite restaurant, right? But always make sure that you're replacing certain meals to make sure that that gap of meals you're replacing is that junk food, and no more. Maybe less, that's cool, but no more than that limit, because then you start to go into a surplus, and when you repeat that habit over and over again, you get fat. We know what happens from there. Okay, so the whole point of me even explaining this is even when I teach them, my clients, is they need to know about this, because outside of like training, cardio, and supplements, nutrition is the number one thing that they need to know to like be successful and graduate the Natural Nomad Academy, so that they can keep the results. The whole point is not so that they can have a coach forever, right? If you have a coach and you left that coach, and left the coach with the same amount of knowledge you had when you met the coach didn't do anything for you. Okay, so we again, we do this by substituting junk food on days that you want to have them so that you don't have to eat as much, you still feel full, but you don't have to put on fat for it, right? Talked about that. The 80-20 rule. I've talked about it at least like 30 times in the last 100 episodes, right? You can scan through them and check if you want. All right. So again, burgers, pizza, donuts, all that shit can help you burn fat. The catch is that you don't eat them every day. What does that mean? It's simple. Super simple. If you give yourself a limit that we just talked about to burn fat, stick to it. It's that simple, right? By controlling the types of food that you eat, you can still feel full and essentially eat less calories, feeling more full. If you've ever heard that weird saying of, you can eat more and you can also be full and you can also burn more fat than you were if you if you're going to do the opposite, which is eat less and starve all the time. And it sounds weird because it's like, well, if I'm putting more stuff in my body, more food, and I'm feeling more full, and there's technically quote unquote more weight in my body because of the food, how am I burning more weight? It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't make sense to the people outside of the fitness sphere. But to us, and when I try to teach the clients, is this example here. So I'm going to give you like a little numerical sort of I'm going to paint a picture for you. Okay? So we're going to look at two meals here. And these are accurate. You can Google these, okay? Two meals. One of them is a home cooked meal, which is, some rice, some ground turkey, and then some vegetables. This is like a good meal. Think of a good meal. I've got the numbers for it. So 250 grams of jasmine rice, 170 grams of ground turkey cooked, and then whatever amount of vegetables that you want, because vegetables are fucking water. I don't count those calories, and neither should you. That meal totals out to 680 calories, and that sounds quite filling. 250 grams of rice, 170 grams or 6 ounces of meat, okay? And then however many vegetables you want with that. And again, you can season the foods that you want to season the way you want to season them. You don't have to not enjoy these foods. That's the one thing I always see with some of you people that have these misconceptions is that, well, if I season my food, then it's going to make me more fat. No, use dry herb seasonings, like dry rub seasonings that are like, you can, think of like black pepper seasonings that are dry. If you get like those wet ones, liquid seasonings, those ones usually have calories, but you can even buy them calorie free. But ultimately, I grew up in a traditional household. So we always, use dry seasonings, and you probably do too. And you should use them if you cook. Otherwise, what the fuck? Because you're not going to enjoy what you're eating anyway, regardless of being on a diet. Would you eat food that's bland? You're a human being. Treat yourself. You have a taste buds for a reason. Don't not season your food because you think it's going to be more healthy. That is the craziest shit ever. You'll never stick to your diet. And you see these crazy bodybuilders, like some of them, oh, I just, cook it and I eat it. Good for you. You get a cookie. Good for you. Clearly your taste buds don't work, but that's not on me. That's on you. So that big juicy meal, 250 grams of rice, 170 grams of ground turkey, and however many vegetables you want compared to the junk equivalent. And this is equivalent, but not the exact equal. Okay. Because whenever you're mixing and matching these foods to fit the calorie range, you're going to be off under or over, give or take 50 to 100 calories. Okay. 100 calories would be the limit. Anything over 100 calories in discrepancies going over is too much. Okay. So I'm comparing that nice, beautiful, wholesome home cooked meal that is seasoned well to something that is 560 calories, but won't even fill you up. And that is one Big Mac burger, guys and girls. So one Big Mac burger is equal to 560 calories. Okay. Whereas that nice loaded ass fucking meal, 250 grams of rice, 170 grams of ground turkey, and then some vegetables, 680 calories. It's way bigger and it's only 100 calories more than a Big Mac burger. And let's be honest here, I'm not no fucking burger boy. And maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But I could eat a burger in less than 10 bites, let alone a Big Mac, and still feel hungry within. Probably I'll eat it and still feel hungry. And I'm not really a craving dude. Like, I'm not a big eater at all. At all. Like, I have to tell myself to eat my meals when I'm growing in my off season. Right now I'm at for today 6 meals a day. So I'll wake up, and this is just a side note. I'm going to be on a tangent just so you can understand the perspective of where I'm coming from a little bit. So I'll have like at least now because I've reduced it. So sick and tired of eating eggs. I'll have 4 whole eggs, and then I'll put 200 grams of egg whites into the raw egg mixture, beat that up, fry that. Okay. And then on the side of that, I'll have about 120 grams or 3 so 90, 60, 90, 120 grams. Okay. 120 grams of oats. Cook that, put it on the side. That's meal one. Boom. Maybe I'll throw some almond milk in there or some condensed milk for taste, ice cream for taste on the oats. Who cares? That's sometimes later on when I'm just winging it, just having some fun. That's meal one. Number two would be the next 4 meals following that are pretty much rice meals, and that's because I just like them. First of all, they're easy to prep. Second of all, I grew up on rice. Third of all, I love rice. I just do. I can eat rice all day. So I'll have 300 grams, 250 to 300 grams. Right now I'm doing 300 because we're slowly increasing. 300 grams parboiled or jasmine rice. Right now I'm doing parboiled. So I'll do 300 grams of that, and then I'll also have 7 ounces of chicken breast. Okay, and then that's meal two. Meal three would be the same, 300 grams of rice, parboiled, and then I'll do maybe 5 ounces of some tuna. And the meal after that would be 7 ounces ground turkey. Is actually close to the meal that we're talking about. 7 ounces of ground turkey and 300 grams of parboiled rice. Okay, and the one after that is I'll do a pasta meal. Okay, about 330 grams. All right. And it's like a mixture, and I calculated it and I know all the macros and all that stuff for it. So I don't have to continue to measure beef aside from the pasta and all that long stuff. So, anyway, that's the first 5 meals. And the last meal is not really a meal, it's just an accumulation of all the snacks that I'll have through the day. And I'll put that on when I'm recording my nutrition. I'll put that on the last block so that I can pretty much see all the snacks that I had that day without having to look through each and every window of the meals that I had. Typically all the snacks I have are pre or post workout, and it could be 2 slices of Wonder Bread and 30 grams of like cheese whiz for a sandwich, just a quick little carb sandwich, or I'll replace that with jam sometimes, or I'll have rice cake with jam sometimes, or I'll have 2 Rice Krispies and a pack of Pop Tarts, whatever it is, really, right? And I'll add those things to the bottom, and those things will bring me from typically over 4,100 calories to damn near 4,500. But if I don't have those snacks, and if I don't crave the sweet tooth and I don't want that pre-workout carb, I'll probably just chill around 4,000 flat or 4,100 calories a day. And that's what I need to eat in order for me to grow. Okay. And then when I'm cutting down, it changes. But that's a whole different tangent. Now you see the other perspective. So let's get back into it, guys and girls. 680 calories for a wholesome meal, a large meal. I'm a professional bodybuilder. And the meal that I just explained is I've eaten that meal several times. 250 grams of rice, 6 ounces of turkey, and a lot of vegetables. Okay. It's filling. I'm not even a big eater, but it's filling. Okay. And a burger, 560 calories from McDonald's. Not going to fill you up, but it has almost the exact same amount of calories. So just by that alone, you can sort of paint the picture and see that you can actually eat more food and still have very, very low calories with the larger consumption of food. Whereas for the Big Mac burger, the calories are sky high, but the portion is just a bite. And no wonder people get obese. No wonder people struggle with food addictions. No wonder I know people, you are probably the person that could eat a medium box of pizza, 2 burgers, and a fucking burrito in one sitting. It's because it's just okay. The pizza, I snapped. Pizza's pretty big, but the burger, okay, the burrito is different too because burrito is actually healthy, in my opinion. Actually, just is. It's just fucking healthy. Like if you're eating a good burrito, it's healthy, and that's why it probably fills you up. But if we're really talking about true junk food, like burgers and shit like that from fast food restaurants and stuff, those are the things that are really gonna set you off. Oreo cookies, man, criminal. Bro, I'm not judging them. You just fucking eat them. I love them. But criminal, man. 53 calories per cookie. One sleeve of cookies, bro. You will screw up your whole entire like diet in one day eating a sleeve of cookies. You can accidentally pack on almost 1,000 calories by not even finishing a box of Oreos. And it's weird because 1,000 calories, what? Almost 1,000, like 800 calories through almost a box of Oreos. How's that possible? This again, paint the same picture that we painted with the large turkey meal with rice and this Big Mac burger. It's the same thing. It's a super, super small little piece of shit. It's not actually shit. I like Oreos. I'm just, let's understand this. Let's demonize it temporarily. And that has a lot of calories. So many damn calories. More than we even know. And the worst part about it is They taste so fucking good, but they never fill us up, so we can eat them all day long. And that's where the calories come on. Okay? The rice meal is more filling because it has more food volume. It's larger on a plate. It's bigger. It's going to take up more space in your stomach and make you feel more full. Also, when the macronutrients we talked about earlier on in the episode, because they have a better macronutrient spread and they have more protein, the protein is going to help satiate you. Satiate you means just make you feel full. Satiation, and just to satisfy you with the meal, like you feel full, like you're not hungry after you ate. Okay, so it's satisfying, it's satiating, it's going to fill you up and make you feel good because of the protein and the food volume, the size of the food, how big it is. And when it goes in your stomach, you'll feel how big it is, or at least your body will, and that will signal to your brain that, okay, well, we're full and we ate well, right? With good nutrients too. Okay, but that burger, man, that burger has an absurd amount of calories for such a small serving, just like the Oreo we talked about. A burger is literally less than 10 bites and quick chews, man. Whereas the home cooked rice and turkey meals, easily 30 bites and longer chews, which makes you feel more full. I'm really trying my best to help you paint this picture here to understand you can eat more and burn more fat, as weird as that sounds. And by doing that and understanding that properly, you can also 20% of the time phase in a little disrespectful burger and still go on about your merry way, burning your fat, building your muscle, changing your physique, getting rid of your man boobs, whatever it is in your fitness journey. You can still have success and incorporate the foods you think you can't. Okay? Why? Well, simple. It literally takes up more space in your stomach without having ridiculously high calories. Imagine trying to get full off of burgers the same way you got full off of that rice meal. Do you know how many burgers that would take? And even then, you might not, like, you'll be full, but the calories that you would have fuck, 2 burgers is already over 1,000 calories. And 2 burgers is like, okay, the average person should feel full off of that. But if you're overweight, if you've got man boobs, if you're obese and you're listening to this and you can scarf down 2 burgers and still feel hungry, we know where the danger is, right? So again, burger, it's like air. It'll go down, and then by the time you drive home from the drive-through, it's like, did I even eat? You gotta fucking smell your own burps to see if you did, because you can't tell if the food's there. It's gone. It's a small size, or it doesn't fill you up, but the calories are like sky high, right? Hope that makes sense to you. Okay, so again, you want to have a better macro spread, macronutrients, and essentially always lean towards eating healthier. Even though you can abuse the system and eat more fast food than you should and still be in your caloric range, it's not going to benefit you in the long run if you are completely ignoring your macronutrients, because that's going to mess up your body composition when you do get down to your leaner body fat. Okay. And even if you do hit your macronutrients with junk food, which is possible, okay, we can go a layer deeper. It's always going to be a little bit a little bit more unhealthy and cause a little bit more stress than it should. How? Because now it's not micronutrients. Micronutrients box are checked because, I mean, we're going to assume that you've been eating all of your foods, your macros, your calories, respecting them all, hitting all the targets. But with fast food, or at least majority fast food, which you can absolutely do and still get successful from, some people's genetics favor it more than others, but we can check off the macros box. But it's still unhealthy because we got to go a little bit deeper, and we have to check off the micros box, which is micronutrients, and micronutrients are the vitamins. Okay, the small things, the minerals, and all that stuff inside the foods that you eat, right? And of course, fat foods are typically devoid of them. They have very, very low amounts, if any at all. And if anything, high amounts of preservatives, high amounts of shit you don't want to put in your body that you're not supposed to put in your body. And that's not a good trade off, which is why I would always recommend that even if you can, technically in theory and in practice, build muscle and burn fat by eating straight junk food, I'd recommend against it. I'd recommend against it because this is a longevity game here. And that isn't a game you can play for the long run, because something is bound to happen if the quality of your food that you're putting into your mouth close to 90% of the time is not good. Okay? You can have some of it all the time, not all of it some of the time. Okay? That's how I would like to say it. Give yourself a taste of it. Don't ever cut it out. Let yourself know that you can still have it. Okay, but don't live for it. You can definitely burn fat, build muscle with strictly fat food if you wanted to. There are people that do it online, but it's not the smartest move for your insides. Your outsides might appear good, but your insides may beg to differ. All right. So why this is why I stress the importance of eating clean 80% of the time, bare minimum. Bare minimum. Okay. 80% of the time you're eating home cooked meals, and for the remaining 20% of the time, you can still have that burger. Like all you've got to do is replace, as I said, one or two meals to roughly cover the calories of the prepped meal or meals that you would have had to or that you would have eaten if you decided not to have that fast food to hit your caloric goal for that day. An example, just another example so you can understand, so you can paint the picture and really get the POV. You need to eat about 2,400 to 2,500 calories a day to burn about 1.5 pounds per week. Okay. And this is, of course, just an example. 1900 to 2,000 of those calories will be like home cooked healthy meals. Excuse me. And the final 400 to 500 calories could be that one burger, right? So I'm going to explain that again. 2,400 to 25, we'll say 2,500 calories is all you need in a day. 2,000 of those calories, you have them through your wholesome home cooked meals, your rice and turkey and your eggs in the morning for bread, whatever it is. Healthy, whole cooked, home foods that you're eating from home that have great macronutrient spreads, lots of protein, you know, have them. Make your 2,000 calories out of your 2,500 about them. And that last 500 calories, hey, what's a fucking Big Mac? 560? Off by 60 calories, a little bit more? That's cool. Have it. For me, the rule is if it's over 100 calories more than my limit, after I phase it in, no chance. Leave it alone. But if it's under the 100, I'll throw it in there. Is it going to kill me? Is 60 calories going to kill me? Fuck no. Especially if I'm going to the gym. And that's how you should start to think too. Of course, if you go to the gym and you're in a calorie deficit. Again, so the point here is not for you to be perfect and actually like 100% be 80 and be 20. It's going to be fucking 79, 21 some days. It's going to be 19 and 81 some days. Shit, it might be 100 some days. Shit, it might be 50-50 some days. Human being, you're a human being. The fuck? You're still going to make your progress. And that's the point here. That food itself won't do anything to you. But the amount of food that you eat that is that food, typically it's that food because it's easier to get in a lot more calories from something that is small but has more calories than something that is big and has more calories, because you'll get full before you even eat the same amount of calories with a healthy, larger size, bigger volume thing. Make sense? Again, you may go over 100 calories, under 100 calories, doesn't matter, right? If you eat clean most of the time, and you're training at least 2 to 3 times per week, guys and girls, for the most part, if you're sticking to the calories that you need to eat while you're training, you can eat anything, as I explained, but that you shouldn't do that. I'm just telling you the truth, though, because you will find out about it if you just do a little digging, right? I always recommend eating healthy and wholesome all the time, though, because you'd be giving yourself an edge, and that's what you want, okay? That's seriously what you want. And this applies to everything, every single thing. If you want to eat burgers every day and burn fat, you can still do it. But a better way to eat them every day would be to make them from home. If you really are a burger boy, if you love your burgers so much and you're so against going out to McDonald's or Burger King and you're just tired of it, even though you like it still, like you want to personally knock the habit of just wasting money on fast food, you can also learn how to make your own versions of burgers at home. And now here is where you get the best of the both worlds. All right, here is where I could compare this to the turkey meal and find a balance. Okay, you'll have the best of both worlds, and this also applies to pizza, wings, burritos, and any of these quote unquote bad junk foods that are I guess bad when you buy them from the fast food spot, but are fucking amazing when you have control over how they're prepared at home, so that you can make sure they have a great macronutrient spread, and you can have more of it because of the calories thing that we talked about with the turkey meal compared to the burgers meal, right? So what was I talking about if you don't remember? It has less calories, but it is bigger, more volume, more space in your stomach it'll take up, right? So if we can understand that home cooked foods that are wholesome have that effect, then what happens if you get your favorite junk food and you make it from scratch at home? Well, now A, you've got the best tasting shit ever because you fucking love burgers or you love your pizza, and B, you made it from home, so you control the nutrients that were in that. And by controlling it, you allow yourself to be able to consume more than you would have been able to consume by ordering out, and also have it be a lot more healthier. Simply understanding that healthy foods pack more nutrition and have less calories than fast foods. Okay, you can order it like you can literally order it as, at a fast food restaurant and fit it into your calories, like we talked about. The puzzle piece method, for less nutritional value and more calories. Or, and I would always recommend the or, you can have more quantity, a larger amount of that quote unquote fast food, maybe even season it the way you like and do some twists with it that make you like it more, with whether it's burgers or pizza or whatever it is that you can cook at home, right? With healthier ingredients, control over the amount of oil, leaner cuts of meats or ground beef, right? For more nutritional value, to feel more full with less calories. That's the best of both worlds, essentially. Make your own burgers at home, right? But you can still do it by going to the fast food restaurant. I'm just literally trying my best to explain every avenue to you guys so you completely understand where we're coming from here, especially if you're foreign to this world. You're new to fitness. You just got started with your fat loss journey. Okay, you can still burn fat with a burger in your mouth, dude. Burger King, McDonald's, Five Guys, or home cooked. However you want your burger, you can have it, right? You can have them all only, though, if you understand this. So don't sweat cutting out foods that you love. Only sweat in the gym. Let's go. That's it. That's all. If you like this episode, share it out with a friend. I hope I was able to deliver a valuable experience to you guys and girls today. Thank you so much for your precious time and attention. Let's embrace your inner meathead together. It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. IFBB PRO signing out. Boom. All right, podcast episode is recorded. I'm going to be reading some comments shortly. I've been stuttering and like fucking falling in and out of sleep. Pulled an all-nighter. I haven't slept all day or all night, so I'm like, forgive me if I'm a little jaded here. Bench Lobster says my guts make I'm not even my guts make a noise when I eat things sometimes. Okay. I thought this was TikTok and people were being weird again because I get the weirdest comments on this goddamn app. Bench Lobster is probably not here anymore, but my guts make a noise when I eat things sometimes. So that's normal. I mean, if you're hungry and you eat and sometimes it makes noise, it's cool. I think it always makes noise, but sometimes you hear it. Because always our bodies are always doing something. If you really think of and sit there and like just really think about it, you can probably hear your heartbeat, right? It's the same thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that though. But that's an interesting share. Nona Mayo says, are protein powders just as bad as fast food in terms of quality? I would say no. Absolutely not. They're not just as bad. They're not bad in general. What I would say is that, what would I say? I can't really find a bad thing to say because they digest better than the protein powders. They digest better than most proteins that you can get from other sources would digest in most people's body. Why? Because it's mainly liquid. There's like no chewing involved. And in order to properly metabolize food in general, any of the macronutrients and micronutrients, you need to be able to cover as much of that food with your saliva and digestive enzymes as possible and chew it up and break it down as much as possible so that when it gets into your stomach, passes through your esophagus, all that good stuff, your body has the ability to digest it properly and suck up all the nutrients more efficiently because it's broken down and covered with the most enzymes, right? Digestive enzymes that come from your saliva, and you chewing it up helps your intestines also break it down, right? And in that whole process, your body heats up and your body burns more calories, which is it's a good thing. So it's a plus. You know what I mean? But it also causes a tiny bit of a crash later, but it doesn't fucking matter. So comparing that to comparing it to protein, where you don't even have to chew, your digestive enzymes are all over it because you're just pretty much drinking, right? It's easier to digest than most protein powders, but than most protein sources. But for other people, it might not be. For their intestines, they might just not react to it properly and might get a lot of gas and things like that, which is completely normal for some people. Um, So I wouldn't say they're just as bad as fast food, because they're not. It's not bad at all. Protein powders, in my opinion, and yeah, they shouldn't even be compared. But I will honor the fact that you asked a good question, and you aren't afraid of potentially looking stupid, which is honestly that stops a lot of people from growing in their life. Me included. Sometimes I've got to be honest. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to fucking seem stupid. I'm not going to ask this question. But that's a great question, honestly. So protein powders are good, and they're great quality of protein. The only thing that I would say about that is not to consume all of your meals from protein, because there are other balances of micronutrients that you'll get from other protein sources. Namely being, so beef and fish have a high creatine concentration. So if you eat those, yes, you get the protein, but you get the vitamins and stuff like that, but you also get more creatine and stuff like that. And then the chicken, or sorry, the fish will say, all right, fish is easily digestible. Probably the easiest meat that is digestible is fish. It's super light. But outside of the protein, what else does it have that it's known for and is famous for having? Omega 3s, okay, the fatty acids, the healthy fats that your body needs. So that's another part of, you know, a protein source having another beneficial aspect to it that protein powder couldn't necessarily provide, right? So protein powder is great for when you're in a pinch, but always stick to um, you know, the actual meat. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, make sure that whatever you consume for your protein source, you also consume every single day one daily serving of EAAs, which is essential amino acids, and that's going to help you essentially be able to get all the protein that you need from your diet. And what does that mean? Well, basically, long story short, if you're vegan or vegetarian, let's say you aim to hit 200 grams of protein that you eat 200 grams of protein and you measure it, everything is measured. But the thing here is your body only actually absorbs about 50% of that, because the proteins that you're getting from plant-based sources aren't complete protein sources. What does that mean? Well, I'll explain to you. A complete protein source and an incomplete protein source. A complete protein source, guys and girls, you're going to get it from meat. It has all of the 9 essential amino acids in it. Okay? That's what EAA stands for, essential amino acids. All right? You get them pretty much from your meats. You don't need to supplement with EAAs really at all if you eat your meat. Like, and you get your protein and your EAAs from meat. But if you're a vegetarian or vegan, the complexes or the matrices that proteins that are vegan based or vegetarian or from vegetables don't have the full spectrum of the 9 essential amino acids, the 9 EAAs that you need in order for you to fully metabolize and digest that protein at the say close to 100% capacity. So long story short, 200 grams of protein, you ate it, you're vegetarian or vegan, unless you're having EAAs every single day, you're only getting about 100 grams from that 200 grams. Let's just leave that there for an example for you guys. All right, so that's what I want to lay out over there for that. I don't even know what made me bring that up. I forgot. Duda, I appreciate the follow, Duda. Larissa, thanks for the comment. I appreciate you for tuning in. She says, "Are you a personal trainer?" I'm an online coach. I used to be a personal trainer on the side when I was also a security guard. I don't do that anymore. Haven't done that since 2018. I'm an online coach though, but I appreciate the question. Naya says, "Hey, kind sir, how do you get over jealousy?" Okay, so that's not with the topic today, but I'll still answer it because you asked, and the podcast is already recorded. So, what have we got to lose here? And the answer is nothing. What do we have to gain? The answer is everything. So, Naya, how do you get over jealousy? I'm going to tell you this. First of all, I'm no guru with this shit. I still get jealous sometimes. You know what I mean? So I just got to lay that out there. You're definitely going to still feel jealous sometimes, no matter what. You can't really get over jealousy. You have to get over yourself, because you're the only reason why you even feel jealous. Other people or other things existing doing whatever the fuck they're doing, it's nothing to do with you. Get over yourself. That's how you get over jealousy. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, and it may not be the answer for you or the answer that you want to hear, but that's what I find works best for me. I notice whenever am jealous, I'm like, I'm giving way too much of a fuck about something I shouldn't give a fuck about. Like, I care too much. What's wrong with me? That's how I start to think. Because jealousy is, you don't really think about it. You just see this thing, and it's like, oh, I'm envious now. Like, oh, you just feel that feeling. It's like the feeling is jealousy. So I'm like, why do I feel this way? What the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? Oh, I care that much. I care so much that my feelings hurt. And I start laughing at myself. But that's me. You know, when I was younger and I was growing up, I would like enact that and do bad things based off of that. I would try to make people like, I'll try to make people not make me jealous, which is the dumbest thing ever because it doesn't work. You have to make yourself not jealous by understanding that you're only jealous because you're not over yourself. Like you care that much. You think you're that important. We are not all that important. I'm going to tell you that much. But that's all I'll say for that because I'm no expert with that. But I do appreciate the question. Larissa, again, says, what's the best way to gain muscle and what products are great to use for working out? So, first things first, scrap the products. If you don't even go to the gym, forget about supplements off the bat. Not going to do anything for you. I'll give you the ice cream sundae analogy that I brought up a couple of weeks ago that my homegirl shall also use. It's Sunday. Think of an ice cream sundae. All right. You got your ice cream. That's foundation. That is your nutrition, primarily eating clean, eating healthy, respecting your caloric requirements. Then you got your caramel and chocolate drizzle, maybe strawberry drizzle. That part you're training. Okay. Nutrition is the ice cream. Your training is the drizzle, right? Chocolate, caramel, strawberry, maybe all three if you train like a fucking maniac. Beautiful. And last but not least, you got to put the cherry on top, right? Of the sundae. It's a sundae. A sundae wouldn't be a sundae without a cherry on top, right? So when you put this cherry on top, what does that cherry represent? That cherry represents supplements. So in the grand scheme of thing, looking at the sundae, ice cream is the foundation, the largest thing. The biggest part about it is like the heart of the sundae. The flavors on the top, that's the training. The next most important thing, and the least important thing is that cherry on the top, which is your supplements. So if you don't have the ice cream and you don't got the chocolate drizzle, give a fuck about the supplements. It will do fuck all for you. Okay. And that's just me sort of cutting it down the middle, but I gotta lay it out like that. You've got to understand that. So the best way to gain muscle is simple. Get into the gym, work out as hard as you can, 2 to 3 days a week. If you have the time for it, whether or not, I would always recommend doing some form of cardio every single like week, at least 2 to 3 times. 5 times would be ideal. But if you are brand new, you've injured yourself, or you're really overweight, you cannot move, 2 to 3 is a golden number. But 1 is also better than 0. Okay. But if we're talking about a routine here that you can count on, 2 days to 3 days of both weight training and cardio mixed up together, in conjunction with eating in a calorie deficit and making sure you're getting enough protein, is the best way to gain muscle. And then once you get to a certain point, once you've repeated that over and over and over and over again, okay, then and only then can you get to a point where, okay, yeah, let's use supplements because like now I'm ready for the cherry on top. The foundation is there, and then they'll actually benefit you because it's literally like that much of a boost. But you can't even use this, and this is a lot. When you go this, so you first it's like this. So you're at 0, right? You start training, you really start putting an effort in. This is like the amount of progress you make in your first few years, and then after that, this is a few years later. You're probably going to be fighting for this much every single year if you're consistent. So it'll be a fraction of the gains that you used to make. So when progress is literally this big every single year, it makes sense to add supplements because now it went from this big to this big. And for people that train all the time, that's huge, right? So outside of that, I wouldn't recommend supplements for people that are beginning in the gym at all whatsoever. Save your money, focus on the important things, focus on the foundation, focus on the ice cream and the chocolate drizzle, not the cherry, until you actually get to the cherry. Okay. So that's it. That's all. Hope you guys and girls have a wonderful Thursday. Peace, love, and motherfucking protein. IFBB Pro Matt Butale signing the fuck out. Peace.